don't have to go full-time. You can start part-time. And he said, if you'll devote, to start with, let's say 10, 12, 15 hours a week, where you'll start making a profit, here's what you can now say. I'm working full-time on my job and part-time on my fortune. Because profits lead to fortune. I got so excited about that philosophy. I'm working full-time on my job, but now I'm working part-time on my fortune. I found a way not only to make a living, you won't believe this, I found a way to make a fortune. Can you imagine what that's like then to get up in the morning? To go to work on your fortune? Not to go to work to pay the rent, which is okay, but a chance to go to work to make a fortune? And I said, right now I'm working part-time on my fortune and full-time on my job, but it won't be long until I'll be working full-time on my fortune. Can you imagine what life is going to be like? Now, here was my first goal when I started, and that was part-time. I wanted to equal on my profits part-time what I was earning on my full-time job. This is called the magic of part-time. It is so thrilling for people to start working the business part-time, because now you can work on profits, and it doesn't take very long. If you'll really concentrate on those 10, 12, 15 hours a week, it won't be long if you really do it right and learn some of the skills I'm going to talk about. It won't be long until you can be earning as much part-time working on your fortune as you are full-time working on your job. I did that in less than 6 months. Now I've got an incredible invitation. I found a way part-time to work on my fortune, and I'm making as much money at that as I am on my full-time job. Would you like to hear my story? It was incredible. Now, here was my second goal, to make twice as much money part-time working on my fortune as I was working full-time on my job. And I reached that in less than a year. Making twice as much money part-time working on my fortune as I was full-time working on my job. Now I've got an incredible invitation that won't quit. I found a way, through a unique opportunity, to work part-time on my fortune, and I'm now earning twice as much money as I am working full-time on my job. Would you like to hear my story? Do you imagine anybody would say, no, I don't care to hear your story? No. Everybody I said that to said, wow, yes, what are you doing? I said, I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. Now, when I started making twice as much money part-time as full-time, here's my dilemma. I didn't want to go full-time. And why not go full-time? And the reason was because I didn't want to give up my electrifying story. Right? It was so powerful, nobody could resist the invitation to at least take a look. I didn't want to give it up. And I hung on for I don't know how long until it was, almost insane. And then finally, reluctantly, I gave up my full-time job. But now, you can imagine the thrill and excitement of going to work full-time on my fortune. It was incredible. But I want you to jot down the magic of part-time. What does it take to really change a person's lifestyle? Not very much. An extra $1,000 a month, I'm telling you, will drastically change most American families' lifestyle. And that's why part-time is so valuable, because it very quickly changes a person's lifestyle. And here's what the change in lifestyle does. It's a great recruiting tool. One of the greatest recruiting attractions is the money you make part-time. Somebody said, you've been on 3 vacations this year? Says, yes, I got this little part-time thing going. Says, what's that? You bought 2 new cars, one for you and one for her? How did you do that? Said, I got this little part-time thing going. Your kids have got all these new clothes? Yes. All this stuff is happening. What is it? An extra $1,000 a month. See, $1,000 a month full-time, nobody wants to hear your story. $1,000 a month part-time, if it starts to change your lifestyle, everybody wants to hear your story. So the key is part-time. The magic and the attraction of part-time gives you a classic invitation for somebody to listen to what you're doing that's changing your life. And it's not just necessarily the money that changes your life. It's what you do with the money. It's the change of lifestyle. So part-time helps to change lifestyle, which gives you a classic invitation to look at what you're doing. That's how I started in network marketing, age 25. Wow, these philosophies changed my life. I wish I would have learned them in high school. In high school, if they would have offered Wealth 1, Wealth 2, I'd have taken both classes. I wouldn't have waited until I was 25 and broke. Here's the next one. Philosophy that helped change my life. It's not what happens that determines your life future. It's not what happens that determines your life future. It's what you do about what happens. All of us are in like a little sailboat. And it's not the blowing of the wind that determines your destination. It's the set of the sail. So jot this phrase down. It's one of the best to understand. Kids need to understand it. The same wind blows on us all. The same wind blows on us all. The wind of disaster, the wind of opportunity, the wind of change, the wind when it's upside down, the wind when it's favorable and unfavorable. The same wind blows on us all. The economic wind, the social wind, the political wind. The same wind blows on everybody. The difference in where you arrive in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, the difference in arrival is not the blowing of the wind, but the set of the sail. And that's what learning is all about, to set a better sail this year than last year. To set a better sail. The first 6 years of my economic life, I wound up broke. Second 6 years, I wound up rich. You say, well, the Democrats must have finally gotten power. No, no, no. It was not a political change. Here's what changed the second 6 years of my economic life. It was my philosophy that changed. The set of the sail of better thinking, correcting the errors of the past and picking up new disciplines for the future. That's all I had to do at the end of the first 6. Correct the errors of the past and then pick up some new disciplines for the future. And my total life changed. The second 6 years was totally different than the first 6 of my working life. And guess who can do that? Anybody. Now, you can keep on the same path for the next couple of years as you have the past 2. But if you wish to, and maybe everything's okay for you and you don't need to, but if you need to make some changes, I'm telling you, you can start doing it today so that the next 2 years will be drastically different than the last 2. And anybody who wishes to do that can. And you can do it between ages 40 and 43. You can do it between ages 13 and 50. You can do it between ages 60 and 62. Any 2 years, any 5 years, that you wish to drastically change from the previous 5, you can do it. If you wish to. Now, this isn't written. This is not a law. Here's what it's called, opportunity. But if you don't know you can change, if you don't know you can drastically change your income, change your future, change your health, change your marriage, change everything. If you don't know that, some people then go year after year after year after year not making much change simply because they didn't get to the class. They never read the book. They never went to the seminar. They never made the discovery. They didn't seek for the knowledge of how could I make my life better. And if you just rock along, I'm telling you, it's okay. Anybody can live any way they choose. But I'm here to tell all of you that if you wish to, it's possible to make the next 3 years totally different than the last 3. And all you have to do is just a few things. So if you got that one now, it's not the blowing of the wind that determines your income. It's not the blowing of the wind that determines your fortune. It's the set of the sail. And that's why we gathered here today. Maybe I've got some ideas that'll help you with a couple of little things about setting the sail of your thinking that might drastically give you multiplied more benefit the next 3 years than you've gotten in the last 3. So it's not what happens. What happens happens to everybody. Chevron years ago brought me in to talk to management. They said, Mr. Owen, you travel around the world and you're fairly knowledgeable. What do you think the next 10 years are going to be like? I said, gentlemen, I can tell you I do know the right people. So they all leaned forward and listened carefully. And I said, gentlemen, the next 10 years are going to be about like the last 10. The next season after fall is, well, I promise you that's not going to change. After day comes night. I promise you that's not going to change. Here's how the last 6,000 years reads. If you want to make a note of Jim Rohn's vision of history the last 6,000 years, here's how it reads. Opportunity mixed with difficulty. And if we're around another 6,000 years, it's going to read like that looks like for the next 6,000 years. Opportunity mixed with difficulty. Now, sometimes there seems to be more opportunity than difficulty, and then sometimes there seems to be more difficulty than opportunity, but the mix isn't going to change. After expansion comes recession. But after recession comes expansion. Not to think so, see, is naive. And once you've got just a little of this stuff settled, then you know exactly what to do. You know exactly what to anticipate, so you can be ready. Now, here's the next one, and I heard it in my invitation. Here's what it says. For things to change, you have to change. I was hoping the government would change and taxes would change and economics.
2 minutes, family. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. We're going to start at 9:15 sharp, 6:15 my time. So in exactly 2 minutes, we're going to start. So grab your books, grab your pens and papers, send out that last minute message and let everybody know that we are starting in 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. Let's run it.
Would change and my boss would change and be more generous. I wished for everything to change. And my teacher said, no, Mr. Owen, for things to change for you, you have to change. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Once I understood this, this altered the course of my life. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. And here's the big one. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. You don't need less problems. You simply need more skills. Don't wish for less challenge. Wish for more wisdom. Accept the challenge, because you can't grow without a challenge. You can't get rich without a challenge. You can't fly without gravity. You have to understand the challenge. But that's the key, is to now develop wisdom to overcome the challenge. Don't wish for less challenge, but more wisdom. And then here's one more philosophy to help change my life forever. You can do the most remarkable things no matter what happens. Humans can do the most remarkable things no matter what happens. Philosophies that changed my life. Here's one of the big philosophies I learned in network marketing. It's called the Law of Averages. If you do something often enough, a ratio will appear. Key phrase, if you do something often enough, a ratio will appear. It's amazing. It's uncanny. In baseball, we call it batting average. If you talk to 10 people, one says yes. Now the ratio has begun. 1 out of 10. Talk to 10, get 1. Here's something interesting about the law of averages. Once it starts, it tends to continue. This is colossal information. Once a ratio starts, it tends to continue. If you talk to 10 and get 1, sure enough, chances are excellent. If you talk to 10 more, you'll get another one. Talk to 10 more, you'll get another one. Now you can compete. If you can only get 1 out of 10, you can compete, even with somebody that can get 9 out of 10. If you've been here a long time, you can get 9 out of 10. I just joined, I can only get 1 out of 10. If we have a 30-day contest, I will beat you. You say, well, how could you beat me? Here's why. During that 30 days, you talk to 10 and get 9. I talk to 100 and get 10. I beat you. Isn't that clever? This is clever stuff.
Upset about bots and competitors clicking on your ad? Why?
All right, familia. Grand rising, grand rising. Hope everybody is having a blessed morning. Big smiles. Yes, yes, yes. I am super excited to be on this call here with you guys today. Yeah, that's always better right there. So big smiles. I'm super excited. I'm super blessed to be on this call. Really looking forward to today's call. We have 2 really good chapters, but as you guys know, I woke up feeling amazing. I woke up feeling blessed. Good prayer this morning. And like we always say, I feel great and I'm feeling even better each and every single day. I expect miracles and I get miracles. Life is amazing. Today is Christmas and everything is just working in exact favor with how we want it, which is the beautiful thing about everything. So I'm just super excited for everything that's happening as we speak. I'm super blessed and I'm super, just filled with so much fulfillment for what it is that's happening, guys. So great stuff. Also, today is Wednesday. So, we have two good chapters, chapter 21 and 22 in the book, The Power of Awareness. So let's get ready for that chapter because that's going to be amazing. And like I told everybody, send out that one last minute message, let everybody know that we are live now, so that way we could get the word out. But in the meantime, guys, what is one thing that you guys are grateful for? Type it in the chat box. Type it in the chat box. What is one thing that you guys are grateful for today? I am grateful for God. I am grateful for my family. I am grateful for my mom, my dad, my little brother, my goddaughter, Dariana. I'm extremely grateful for Katie. Grateful for my mentors, Matt Rosa, Matt Gribby, Jason Brown, Alex Morton, Darwin Lopez. Extremely grateful for, my team, the whole organization, everybody in the Leadership Academy, just everybody in the Leadership Dynasty. I'm extremely grateful for everybody. Just so many people that, have absolutely changed my life. And I'm just grateful for all of them. Let me just, right here. Perfect. So, extremely grateful for the whole Mornings with Nano family, everything we got going on here, and just how impactful everybody, how impactful we've all become. The fact that we're a family, and we're literally all about becoming the best versions of ourselves. That's what it's all about. Also, before we get started, I don't know if you guys saw, but I dropped my tour flyers. I'm gonna be coming to a few cities over the next 30 days for sure. I don't know if anybody's in those cities, but real quick, is anybody in the cities of Los Angeles? I'm going to first is actually Arizona. So if you are in the Arizona area, let me know. I'm gonna be in Arizona. I'm gonna be in Los Angeles. I'm going to be in San Francisco. I'm going to be in Orlando, potentially North Carolina. I'm also going to go up to New York for a little bit. I'll be back in Miami for a few. And then, I'm also going to hit up Boston, Ohio, and a few other cities. So, if you guys are in any of those cities, let me know because I'm going to be coming down over there to one of those cities. I see some people here in the North Carolina area, some Maryland. I don't got Maryland yet, but potentially could make it happen. Once I start, developing some leaders over there, I'll definitely come to. But I'm definitely planning on something huge. This is more of personal business tour, but when I do a Mornings with Nano tour, it'll definitely be a lot more cities in there included, fam. So I'm excited for what it is that's about to happen, and I'm really looking forward to, expand and really spread this information, guys. Which is really my goal, is really get everybody more locked in for this information. So let's get this call started. I'm excited for where we're at in the book. I'm like, dude, we're in chapter 21, like 21. It's April 27. I think this book might go into May, but we'll be done with it by the beginning of May, because I don't think we'll finish the whole book. So if we do chapter 21 and 22 today, that means we'll do 23 tomorrow, which is case histories. And then on Friday, we'll do 24, 25, which will leave us, next week, Monday, to finish the last two chapters. So, we basically have 3 days of this book left. So let's see where we're at with this book. But we're starting up, guys. Free Will, chapter 21. This book, The Power of Awareness. If you're on this call for the very first time, we've dedicated the whole month of April to awareness, right? I had a really, really, amazing leader in my organization, give me a great idea to, instead of just reading the book by myself again, she said, let's read it together as a team. Let's read it together on mornings when let's let everybody have the breakthrough. So I don't know if she's on the call, but Luisa, if you're on the call, I'm telling you, I am so grateful for you, because you giving me that recommendation is going to help so many people change their lives on this call, because we went over it together. So good stuff. Thank you, Luisa. And let's get this call started. So we're on chapter 21. If you don't have the book, just listen up. I don't just read it out loud. I stop and I break it down, and I help people understand what it is that we got. Oh, Lisa's on IG. There you go. So chapter 21, Free Will, page 72. We start at the top. Let's run it. So the question is often asked, right? What should be done between the assumption of the wish fulfilled and its realization? Now, this is a really good question, because I know that this is a question that a lot of you guys probably ask right here, right? Like, how long is it going to take? What do I have to do in between? Like, okay, I'm here right now. I'm going to live in the assumption of the wish fulfilled every day. But what's going to happen? Listen to the question again. The question is often asked, what should be done between the assumption of the wish fulfilled and its realization? Nothing. That's the answer. You should do nothing. Let's see why. It is a delusion that, other than assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you can do anything to aid the realization of your desire. You think you can do something, you want to do something, but actually you can do nothing. The illusion of the free will to do, the illusion of the free will to do is but ignorance of the law of assumption, upon which all action is based. Everything happens automatically. All that befalls you, all that is done by you, happens. Your assumptions, conscious or unconscious, direct all thought and action to their fulfillment. To understand the law of assumption, to be convinced of its truth, means getting rid of all the illusions about free will to act. Free will actually means freedom to select any idea you desire. Make sure you highlight that right there, because that explains a lot of the chapter. Free will actually means freedom to select any idea you desire. By assuming that the idea already to be a fact, it is converted into reality. Beyond that, free will ends and everything happens in harmony with the concept assumed. This is key. Let's make sure we highlight those last 2 or 3 sentences, because that is very key. All right, we're going to continue here. We'll come back to that. I can of mine own self do nothing, because I seek not my own will, but the will of the Father which hath sent me. In this quotation, the Father obviously refers to God. In an earlier chapter, God is defined as I am. Since creation is finished, the Father is never in a position of saying, I will be. In other words, everything exists, and the infinite I am consciousness can speak only in the present tense. This is key. Not my will, but thine be done. I will be is a confession that I am not. Listen to that. I will be a millionaire. I will be a success story. I will be a 6-figure earner. I will be a chairman. I will be a SED. I will be a great mother. I will be a great son. I will be is a confession that you are not. You got to make sure you remember that, because I know that that's a word that we use very, very freely. We say, I will be, or so on and so forth. And a lot of the times we use these words, and sometimes the words that we use are actually the words that are creating our reality. But the problem is that sometimes we don't realize that we are actually holding ourselves back with the words that we're using on a day-to-day basis. You don't know how many times, because of the awareness that I have, because of the books that I've read on self-talk and, all of these things, when I talk to people, sometimes, almost majority of the time, I can tell what's holding them back by the words that they speak to me. I can have if I have a conversation with you for 5 minutes, I know what's holding you back because of the words that you speak. I can see it because I can hear the self-doubt words. I can hear the limiting beliefs in your words. There are so many words that we are using on a day-to-day basis that are holding us back from our desires. Because think about it. You say, I am a millionaire, okay, and you speak it and you see it in your visualization, but then you're speaking that you're not. I will be a billionaire. I will be this. I am stressed. I am this. But in your visualization, in your journal, you're writing down that you're going to make 6 figures. But in your words, you're speaking the complete difference. Remember, everything has to be aligned in order for this to work. The only way this all worked for me was because not only was I thinking it and visualizing it and writing it down, I was also making sure that the words that I spoke every day and the actions that I took every day were in alignment with that desire that I was writing down and visualizing in the morning. That was the key for me. So I would wake up in the morning, okay? I would walk to the park, go to nature. I didn't want to be at home. I didn't want to be in my environment. I didn't want to think the same thoughts. So I would always get out of my house and go somewhere where I can go. And while I was at these places, I would sit there and I would visualize my goals. I would read a book. I would listen to an audio. I would write down my goals. I would live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Okay. And then it was time for me to start my day after mornings with Nano. So now after I started my day, it was very important for me to be conscious of my feelings and the words that I was speaking on a day-to-day basis. Okay, because I knew I couldn't visualize one thing and then be saying the complete opposite, because you know what that's called? It's called sending mixed signals. You can't send mixed signals. I can't be visualizing becoming a 6-figure earner, but then talking about how broke I am and stressing out about how I'm struggling financially. That's never going to happen. It'll never happen that way. Never, ever, ever, ever. You can't say that you want one thing, but then you're talking about and feeling bad about another thing throughout the day. That's called sending mixed signals. And the reason why you see so many people that, yes, they read the books, yes, they listen to the audios, but then they don't get any results is because of that exact same thing. And then they'll tell you like, bro, I've been doing the work. Yeah, I've been waking up every morning, Nano. I've been doing the work every morning, Nano. Like, I'm waking up, I'm reading the books, I'm listening to the audios, I'm meditating, I'm visualizing. But for some reason, bro, nothing has changed. It's been months. Well, it's been months and nothing has changed. There's obviously something wrong. There's obviously something that you're doing that's not right, because some things have to change after some time, right? Like they say, some things got to give. So the thing is that sometimes you might be writing the goal down, yes. You might be visualizing the goal, yes. But you got to also understand that now the actions and the feelings and the things that you speak each and every single day have to be in alignment with what you wrote down and with what you visualize in the morning. Don't miss that point, because that might be what's holding you back right there. You might be doing the book. Sorry, you might be applying the principles in the book. You might be visualizing every day. You might be reading every day. But remember, it's just not that. It's the action that you take every day. Because remember, I only do my morning routine 2-3 hours out of the day. And then I have life that hits me for the rest of the day, which is 12, 13, 14 hours plus. Right? So if we're including, let's just put it like this, right? If I sleep 6-7 hours, let's say I sleep 7 hours, good amount of sleep is a good 7 hours, okay? We only have 24 hours in the day, okay? So if we subtract 7 from 24, we get 17 hours left, okay? 17 hours of time that I spend awake with my eyes open, okay? Now let's take 2 of those hours and put it into my morning routine, for example, okay? That means now I only have 15 hours that I need to focus heavily, okay? There's 15 hours that, first off, now I have to be extremely conscious of what I say, what I do, and what I feel. This is why you guys saw me, and this is why I told you guys I have alarm I have alarms that are set to remind me every hour the feeling is a secret. Power of assumption. I had a gratitude rock in my pocket to remind me, Nano, be grateful. Practice gratitude. Sometimes people are just not expressing enough gratitude for where they are. Something I'll never forget when my mentor told me, he said, Nano, how do you want God to give you more to be grateful for if you're not even grateful for the $600 that you earn every month? You're not even grateful for the 10 people on your team right now. How are you going to expect more if you're not even grateful for what you have? And that hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, wow, you're actually right. I'm not being grateful for the small things that I have. He said, in order for you to get more to be grateful for, you got to be grateful for what you have now. He's like, bro, you're not even grateful for the $250 that you earn every week. But you want God to give you $2,000 a week? You want God to give you $5,000 a week? You're not even grateful for the $250 that you're earning right now. You're not even grateful for the team of 20, 30 people that you have right now. And I was like, you're right. Because I wanted $5,000 a month so bad. I wanted $10,000 a month so bad that I forgot to be grateful for the $1,000 a month that I was earning. I forgot to be grateful for the $2,000 a month that I was earning. And you know what God will do? God will keep you in that position until you learn to be grateful. So think about that. He kept me in those positions for months. He kept me at $1,000 a month and $2,000 a month. I spend so much time in those two areas. I spent almost a year and a half between those two areas right there in those two incomes, $1,000 and $2,000. Because remember, guys, you got to think about it. I live in Washington Heights, okay? I was living in Washington Heights. I'm 24 years old, 25 years old at the time when this is all happening, all right? I live with my parents. At the time, I was in a relationship as well, okay? I'm making $1,000 a month, okay? That is $250 a week. That is $12,000 a year, okay? $12,000 a year. So the same way that money came in, it was the same way I was living check to check. When I was making $250 a week, I would get paid Friday. By Monday, that was gone. That meant that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the way up until Friday, until I got paid again, I was just living off of what I could. Asking my mom for money. Like, Mom, I don't got no money anymore. Can you loan me $20? Can you lend me $20? I'm a 24-year-old man living with my parents. Think about that. So that was a stressful situation for me at the time because I'm like, man, bro, like This sucks. And it was hard for me to be grateful because I wanted more. I wanted more. And for months, I stayed stuck in those situations because I was so focused on how much I wanted that I didn't focus on what I did have. You understand what I'm telling you guys right now? Type a 1 in the chat box if this is making sense. You have to be grateful for what you have now in order for God and the universe to give you more to be grateful for. You got to be grateful for the amount of money that you earn right now. You got to be grateful for it. You got to be grateful for the team that you have. You got to be grateful for the family that you have. You got to be grateful for the relationship that you're in. You got to be grateful for this stuff. Be grateful now, and that'll grant you access for more to be grateful for. The moment I had that, though, you ever in this journey, there's gonna be little shifts that you make. All right, little shifts that you make that change the game for you. You guys ever heard? I told you guys a story about the fly story, right? The fly there was a fly that wanted to leave the room, right? And the fly kept hitting this window right here, boom. Every time he's trying to get out the room and he keeps hitting the window every time. And all the fly has to do is turn around and go out the door and he has freedom. But for some reason, the fly just keeps hitting the window. And the fly ends up dying because you hit that window enough and it's going to die. But what the fly is not aware of is that if it turns around and it has a little shift, their whole life can change. The freedom that the fly is looking for is literally a shift away. And a lot of us, we are the fly hitting the window. We keep doing the same thing over again, and we're expecting a different result. We're expecting a different result. Just visualize it with me. Visualize a fly hitting a window back, knowing that this fly does not have the strength to break through this window. It has no chance. It's literally done for. It has a 0% chance of breaking through the window. All the fly had to do is, instead of its ambitious attempt to break through the window, all the fly has to do is turn around and the door is open, okay, for them to get out. But the problem is, too many of us are the fly on the window. We just keep trying the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. We wake up at the same time every day. We do the same things every day. We brush our teeth with the same hand every day. We put our clothes on the same time every day. We think the same thoughts. We talk to the same people. We listen to the same music every single day, but you're expecting a different result. For real, sit down and think about that. You talk to the same people. You listen to the same music. You wake up at the same time. You brush your teeth with the same hand. You think the same thoughts. You eat the same foods. You're the fly you're the fly that will die on that windowsill unless you change direction, unless you shift. And that's what I meant for me. That shift for me was, I kept doing the same thing for a year and a half. I'm like, I was thinking the same thoughts, the same thing, same people, same this. And then I realized, I'm like, bro, Nano, all you have to do is change. All you have to do is change. That's all you have to do. Start being grateful for the things that you do have. And that shift changed everything for me, because now I was able to go out the door and I was able to see what was out there for me. But if not, I would still to this day be hitting that windowsill if I never changed, if I never made the shift. You got to make the shift. Okay. So that's very, very important. Let's continue here back to the book. I went on a little rant right there. I want to get to the next chapter, which is persistence. And we still have a few to go over here with free will. All right. So I'm going to start right there in the middle of page 73. The I will be is a confession that I am not. All right. Hold up. Actually, before I do so, let me grab this charger really fast over here. I don't know why my laptop dies so fast when I'm on YouTube. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is so complicated. Okay, perfect. There we go. Now we lit. All right, so we're right here, page 73, middle of it. All right, so let's run it. So I will be is a confession that I am not. The Father's will is always I am. Until you realize that you are the Father, there is only one I am. And your infinite self is that I am. Your will is always I will be. In the law of assumption, your consciousness of being is the Father's will. The mere wish without this consciousness is my will, is the my will. This great quotation, so little understood, is a perfect statement of the law of assumption. It is impossible to do anything. You must be in order to do. If you had a different concept of yourself, everything would be different. Okay, this is what I'm talking about right here, the different concept. This is super key. If you had a different concept of yourself, everything would be different. You are what you are. So everything is as it is. The events which you observe are determined by the concept you have of yourself. This is important right here. Make sure you highlight that. The events which you observe are determined by the concept you have of yourself. So think about it. The things that you see happen in your life are a reflection and are determined by the concept you have of yourself. That's so important. Think about the things that you're seeing every day. Think about that, really. Think about the situations that have arisen in your life over the last 4 months. What did you see? What has happened in your life? That is all determined by the concept you have of yourself. So true. Like, the reason why I tell you guys to trust what it is that I'm telling you guys is because I've already lived both sides. I know what it's like to be at the beginning of starting reading this book and reading the book, applying the information and getting the results from it. So I've seen both sides. I've seen the black and I've seen the white. Some of us have only seen that one side. Some of you have not seen the other side yet. You haven't tapped in enough yet to see the other side. I'm giving you guys the keys to get to the other side because that's one of my goals in life. That's one of God's purposes on earth, is to help his lost children find themselves. And as much as I love all of you on this call, there's a lot of people on this call that are lost. There are. And that's okay, because guess what? You're at least in the right place to help you find yourself. That's the reason why we need to make so much more of a bigger impact, because 500, 600 people, it's great. And I'm grateful for the 500, 600 people, but we got to be impacting thousands of people, millions of people, because there's too many people lost. There's too many people that don't understand what their purpose is. What does lost mean? Lost means people don't know what their purpose is. They don't have no real fulfillment. They don't know what they want. They don't have no direction. Lost, no direction. It's like a boat in the middle of the ocean with no sail. Where is it gonna go? Where is it gonna go? Nowhere. So I dedicated my life to helping find people, helping people find themselves. I want you guys to find yourselves the same way I found myself, because I was lost too. I was lost. Okay, I get it. I'm not here to talk down on you guys. I'm not here to think that I'm better than you. No, I'm here to tell you, like, bro, I've been there with you, sis. I've been there. Let me show you what I did to find myself. Let me show you the books that I read to find myself. Let me show you the actions that I took to get myself out of that situation so you can do the same for you. Right? Put a 1 in the chat box. All right. If you feel like you have found yourself a lot more since you started jumping on Mornings with Nano, right? If these calls have helped you find a purpose, find a passion, find more of a different level of awareness, you're working on yourself more. Okay. There's different things. Look how many ones are being dropped in the chat, guys. So many people are finding themselves. So many people are understanding their purpose now on earth because of these calls. Not because of me, because of God. Me, I'm just the vessel. I'm just a vessel that God is using to spread the message. But in reality, it's all thanks to God. So I want you guys to remember this stuff because this is key, right? We go back to the book. What does the book say? The events which you observe are determined by the concept you have of yourself. When you change the concept of yourself, everything else will change. I changed the concept of myself, and all the events in my life have now changed. Everything is nothing but abundance, greatness, luxury, abundance, great things, amazing things. And that's what this all says, right? So let's continue here so we can get to the next chapter, because the next chapter is even better. Oh my God. Let's finish up this chapter. If you change your concept of yourself, the events ahead of you in time are altered, but thus altered, they form again a deterministic sequence starting from the moment of this changed concept. So let me read that again. If you change your concept of yourself, the events ahead of you in time are altered. Okay, what does he mean by that? When you change the view that you have of yourself, okay, the events that are now going to happen moving forward will change. But thus altered, they form again a deterministic sequence starting from the moment of this change concept. You are being with powers of intervention, which enable you by a change of consciousness to alter the course of observed events, in fact, change your future. Guys, that's why they say one book could change your life. This book changed my life. That's what he's saying right there. Look, you are beings with powers of intervention, which enable you by a change of consciousness, which is, remember, consciousness is what you think, by a change of consciousness to alter the course of observed events, to change the course, right, of observed events, right? Before I would see the hood, right, low income, to alter the course of observed events, in fact, to change your future. The moment I understood this information and applied this information, my whole life changed. My whole life changed. Deny the evidence of the senses. We've heard this multiple times, highlighted again. Deny the evidence of the senses and assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. There you go again. It's going to be mentioned every single time in this book, in every single chapter. There it goes again. I told you guys, this will be mentioned on every single chapter. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And as much assumption is creative and forms an atmosphere, your assumption, if it be a noble one, increases your assurance and helps you reach a higher level of being. If, on the other hand, your assumption be an unlovely one, it hinders you and makes your downward way swifter. Just as the lovely assumption creates harmonious atmosphere, so the hard and bitter feelings create hard and bitter atmosphere. Okay? Whatsoever things are pure, just, lovely, of good report, think on these things. So repeat it again. Whatsoever things are pure, just, lovely, of good report, think on these things. This means to make your assumption the highest, noblest, happiest concepts. There's no better time to start than now. There's no better time to start than now. The present moment is always the most opportune in which to eliminate all unlovely assumptions and to concentrate only on the good. As well as yourself, claim for others their divine inheritance. See only their good and the good in them. Stir the highest in others to confidence and self assertion. By your sincere assumption of their good, you will be their prophet and their healer. For an inevitable fulfillment awaits all sustained assumptions. That last chapter is basically telling you not to be a hater when other people win. That's basically, in shorter words, what it's telling you to do. And I understood that on a different level because in business, right, and in life, there's other people that are always going to win around you. And they say, don't hate, just wait your turn. And if I tell you guys, I never hated, I just always waited my turn. If somebody won around me, I celebrated that person like if it was me. If somebody hit six figures, I celebrated that person like it was me. I never hated on them. I never said, oh, they got lucky. Like, man, whatever, bro. Like, can't believe he did it first than me. No, I celebrated it. Yes, let's go. Congratulations, bro. And not fake. Like, I genuinely meant it. This is a lot of people's problems, though. A lot of you guys don't like to see other people win. A lot of you, it bothers you when somebody hits a rank before you. A lot of you, it bothers you when somebody gets to where you wanted to go to before you got there. And you know what? That's a huge test that God does. And a lot of people don't know that test. You know what God does? God will bless the person next to you to see how you celebrate that person or to see how you act towards that person. God will bless a person in your life to see how you celebrate that person. If you celebrate them, you pass the test. If you hate on them and you don't celebrate it, you know what God does? Well, they said they wanted success. They said they wanted six figures, but they can't even celebrate the person around them that's hitting six figures. Doesn't deserve it yet. You can't get it yet. Because remember, when I was on my way to six figures, there were a bunch of other people that hit six figures before I did. People that started after me, people that had less time than me. Think about how much of a test that was for me to watch people that were sometimes even less qualified than me get to where I wanted to get to faster. But you know what I did? I'll never forget those words. He said, you're not celebrating that person because they got to six figures. You're celebrating that person because you want to let God know that you're ready for the same blessing. When you celebrate somebody, you're not necessarily celebrating them because they hit a goal or because they hit a milestone. Yes, you're celebrating them because of that as well, but you're also celebrating them because you want to let God and the universe know that you're ready for the same blessing. If you hate on that person, you show jealousy towards that person, you show envy towards that person. Remember, that's low vibration. Jealousy, envy, hate. Those are three of the most lowest vibrational feelings that you can ever feel. Remember, you can't attract a high vibrational goal with low vibrational feelings in your heart. It's impossible. That's what I said. What did I say at the beginning of the call? People ask for six figures. People ask for seven figures. All right. But you got to be careful with your feelings, the words that you speak every day, the actions that you take every day. You can't ask for six figures and then watch someone go hit six figures and then hate on that person and be mad at that person for doing what you want to do and for God blessing them with the same blessing that you want. No, you celebrate that. So, for example, me now, I'm going to seven figures, right? If anybody around me hits 7 figures, I'm celebrating that. Hell yeah, of course. Congratulations. Celebrating that. I'm giving them a shout out on my page. I'm telling them to jump on Mornings with Nano and give a testimony. Like, I'm celebrating that, family, with all my heart. Like, genuinely celebrating it. Not only because I'm happy for the person, but because I got to let God know and the universe know that I'm ready for the same blessing. I'm ready for 7 figures too. So that's key. So that we're at the top of page 75. You win by assumption, right? Listen to this. You win by assumption what you can never win by force. An assumption is a certain motion of consciousness. This motion, like all motion, exercises an influence on the surrounding substance, causing it to take shape of, echo, and reflect the assumption. A change of fortune is a new direction and outlook, merely a change in arrangement of the same mind, substance, consciousness. If you would change your life, you must begin at the very source with your own basic concept of yourself. All right? For my people looking to change their life, you want to be paying attention right now. Outer change, becoming part of organizations, political bodies, religious bodies is not enough. The cause goes deeper. The essential change must take place in yourself, in your own concept of self. You must assume that you are what you want to be and continue therein. For the reality of your assumption has its being in complete independence of objective fact, and will clothe itself in flesh if you persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you know that assumptions, if persisted in, harden into facts, then events which seem to the uninitiated mere accidents will be understood by you to be the logical and inevitable effects of your assumption. The important thing to bear in mind is that you have infinite free will in choosing your assumptions, but no power to determine conditions and events. You can create nothing, but your assumption determines what portion of creation you will experience. All right, that is chapter 21. Free will. All right, super key. All right, now, what can we take from free will? All right, it's like they say. We just finished up chapter 21, page 76. It's like they say. What do they say? Don't worry about the how. You guys ever heard about that? Don't worry about the how. You don't need to know the how. All you need to know is that you want that. That's what free will is basically telling you right there. You don't need to know the how. Bob Proctor says this. Kevin Trudeau says this. Jim Rohn says this. Napoleon Hill says this. Earl Nightingale says this. Alex Morton says this. How come is it that the most successful people in the world always say, don't worry about the how? I remember hearing that for the first time. If you're somebody who's on this call and you're hearing this for the first time, I know what your thoughts are. You're probably like, Nano, what do you mean, don't worry about the how? Like, I need to know how I'm going to get there. I need to know how I'm going to hit 6 figures. I need to know how, right? That's when I used to say this. I used to say the same thing. People used to tell me like, Nano, don't worry about the how. I'm like, bro, what do you mean don't worry about the how? I need to know how I'm going to get there. They used to tap me on the head like, oh, my young son, you have so much to learn. That's literally what they used to do to me. Oh, my young son, you have so much you got to learn. You have so much you got to learn. I have so much I had to learn. And it's confusing when you first hear it. Right? But that's what he said at the end. The important thing to bear in mind is that you have infinite free will in choosing your assumptions. You can choose whatever it is that you want. but no power to determine the conditions in the events. I have no power to determine what happens tomorrow, what happens. I have no power. You can create nothing, but your assumption determines what portion of creation you will experience. This is the key right here, guys. I need you guys to really understand this information that I'm covering right now, because this information was the information that changed everything for me. Just knowing this was changed everything, honestly. Understanding that stuff right there was what changed everything. This chapter had a lot of good information, guys. A lot of good information. From deny the evidence of the senses and assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The events which you observe are determined by the concept you have of yourself. If you would change your life, you must begin at the very source with your own basic concept of self, right? It all starts with us. We need to change, guys, us. This is why I am so hard on you guys about your morning routine, about spending time every day working on yourself. This is why. This is why. Now, let's get into chapter 22 because this one is really good, all right? And I want to cover this one pretty quick because it's already 10 o'clock back home. I want to get you guys out of here by 10:15, 10:20 is the latest, all right? So chapter 22, persistence. This is one of my favorite chapters in the whole book. Persistence. Let's read this verse right here. Let's read this scripture, all right? And he said unto them, which of you shall have a friend? And shall go unto him at midnight, and say unto him, friend, lend me 3 loaves. For a friend of mine in his journey is come to me, and I have nothing to set before him. And he from within shall answer and say, trouble me not. The door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give thee. I say unto you, though he will not rise and give him, because he is his friend, yet because of his importunity, he will rise and give him as many as he needeth. And I say unto you, ask, and it shall be given, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Luke chapter 11, verse 5 through 9. Okay. I'm still getting better at reading these verses and these scriptures because the verbiage is a lot different. Okay. But now let's break down what it means, right? Because that whole scripture that we just read means something. Okay. So there are 3 principal characters in this quotation. You and the 2 friends are mentioned. The first friend is a desired state of consciousness. The second friend is a desire seeking fulfillment. 3 is the symbol of wholeness, completion. Loaves symbolize substance. The shut door symbolizes the senses which separate the seen from the unseen. Children in bed means ideas that are dormant. Inability to rise means a desired state of consciousness cannot rise to you. You must rise to it. Importunity means demanding persistency, a kind of brazen impotence. Impudence. Let's look up that. What is impudence? The quality of, you see, this is what it says. So I'm looking up impudence, and it says the quality of being impudent. uh, let me see. Maybe we look up just impudent. Maybe. Why does Google do that? Oh, okay. Imprudent, not showing due respect for another person. So lack of respect. Okay, that's what it is. Lack of respect. You got to look the root word. Yes, facts. Yeah, nah, that's what it was. I got to look up the root word. So, yeah, all right. A brazen, impudent. Acts, seek, and knock mean assuming the consciousness of already having what you desire. Like that paragraph right there, guys, that basically broke down. Like in reality, if you sit down and think about it, like there's a whole there's a lot of symbolism in this book as well, because he uses these quotes and then he breaks them down, and he, like, think about it. You're reading this quote right here, the quotation about, the friend, right? And if we read it one more time, right? And he said unto them, which of you shall have a friend and shall go unto him at midnight and say unto him, friend, lend me 3 loaves. Right? Now, if we go back, what did the loaves mean? The loaves mean, where is that for the loaves? The shut door senses that. Inability to ride. Loaves symbolize substance. At the top right there, it said the loaves symbolize substance. Okay, for a friend of mine in his journey has come to me, and I have nothing to set before him. And he from within shall answer and say, trouble me not, the door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed. Right? The door shut symbolizes the senses, which separate the seen from the unseen, and the children in bed means the ideas that are dormant. So, guys, be able to sit down and be able to break this stuff down, because there's a lot more symbolism than we see in this. There's you got to read in between the lines, like they say. Okay, but let's continue to the second paragraph, and then we'll come back to this stuff. He says, thus the scriptures tell you that you must persist in rising to assuming the consciousness of your wish already being fulfilled. The promise is defined that if you are shameless in your impudence in assuming that you already have that which your senses deny, it shall be given unto you. Your desire shall be attained. The Bible teaches the Bible teaches the necessity of persistence by the use of many stories. When Jacob saw a blessing from the angel with whom he wrestled, he said, I will not let thee go except thou bless me. When the Shamanite sought the help of Elisha, she said, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And he arose and followed her. The same idea is expressed in another passage, right? And he spake a parable unto them, that man ought always to pray and not to faint, saying, there was in a city a judge which feared not God, neither regarded man, and there was a widow in that city. And she came unto him, saying, avenge me of mine adversary. And he would not, for a while, but afterward he said within himself, though I fear not God, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest she weary me by her continual coming. Luke chapter 18, verse 1 through 5. The basic truth underlying each of these stories is that desire springs from the awareness of ultimate attainment, and that persistence in maintaining that the consciousness of the desire already being fulfilled results in its fulfillment. All right, so make sure you guys highlight that basic truth, right? The basic truth underlying each of these stories is that desire springs from the awareness of ultimate attainment, and that persistence in maintaining the consciousness of the desire already being fulfilled results in its fulfillment. It is not enough to feel yourself into the state. It is not enough to feel yourself into the state of the answered prayer. You must persist in that state. That is the reason for the injunction. Man ought always to pray and not to faint. Here, to pray means to give thanks for already having what you desire. Only persistency in the assumption of the wish fulfilled can cause those subtle changes in your mind which result in the desired change in your life. It matters not whether they be angels, Alicia, or reluctant judges, all must respond in harmony with your persistent assumption. When it appears that people other than yourself in your world do not act towards you as you would like, it is not due to reluctance on their part, but a lack of persistency in your assumption of your life already being as you want it to be. Your assumption to be effective cannot be a single isolated act. It must be a maintained attitude of the wish fulfilled. Elisha. I think I said it right, right? I was saying it right, but you guys get the point. So, must respond in harmony with your persistent assumption. When it appears that people other than yourself in your world do not act towards you as you would like, it is not due to reluctance on their part, but a lack of persistency in your assumption of your life already being as you want it to be. Your assumption to be effective cannot be a single isolated act. It must be a maintained attitude of the wish fulfilled. That is the real key right there. This is the real key. We must stay persistent through everything, every day, day in and day out, no matter what's happening. That's what he's covering on this in this chapter. He used stories in the Bible, all right, that basically, give you a breakdown of how persistence, right, helped those individuals in those stories get through whatever they were going through. Okay, and that's the key. If we go to page 78 right there in the middle, right, where it says, thus the scriptures, let's read this one more time, right? He said, thus the scriptures tell you that you must persist in rising to assuming the consciousness of your wish already being fulfilled. The promise is definite that if you are shameless in your impudence in assuming that you already have that which your senses deny, it shall be given unto you. Your desires shall be attained. That is so powerful right there. Thus, the scriptures tell you that you must persist in rising to assuming the consciousness of your wish already being fulfilled. Persistently, you must every day, okay, every day, all right, you must every day do it. Did you do it? The question is, have you done it this week? Did you do it on Monday? Did you do it on Tuesday? Did you do it this morning? That's the question every single one of us should be asking ourselves. Have we been persistent with what we've been learning? Remember, the how doesn't matter. We learned that today. The way you know if this stuff is working is with the events that you are attracting into your life. That's how you know. When I know things are changing is like when I see the events happening. I'm like, oh, nice little play right here. I made a good amount of money here. I met this person here. This, like, everything is working in my favor. You got to be persistent with this stuff. And it's important. It's key. It's super key. And he breaks it down better than anybody I know. If I were you guys, I would also highlight that chapter right there in the middle of page 78, the one that we just read. Thus, the scriptures tell you. I'm gonna highlight that one as well because that one has a lot of value in that you can really, really break down and understand on a different level. He said the Bible teaches the necessity of persistent by the use of many stories. Pray means to give thanks for already having what you desire. When you pray, you got to give thanks for the things that you desire. I'm already thanking God for my Rolls Royce. I'm already thanking God for my 7-figure crypto portfolio. I'm already thanking God for my relationship with him in the future. I'm already thanking God for all of those things. And then that last chapter in the back, that last paragraph, if we read it again, let's read it one more time. He said, all must respond in harmony with your persistent assumption. When it appears that people other than yourself in your world do not act towards you as you would like. This happens to us a lot, right? This happens a lot. Listen to this. All right. How many of you guys have friends, have family, co-workers, significant others that don't act the way that you want them to act towards what it is that you want? You have a lot of those, right? We have a lot of those. Whenever you have parents, friends, family that are reluctant, that's what he's saying. When it appears that other people than yourself in your world do not act towards, when it appears that people other than yourself in your world do not act toward you as you would like, it is not due to reluctance on their part, but a lack of persistence in your assumption of your life already being as you want it to be. You just got to keep going. Just got to keep going. If they still don't believe, if they still don't see it, it's because you haven't been consistent enough. That's the truth. You haven't been consistent enough. You haven't done it enough. When you change the concept of yourself, everything will change. And it's so true because, dude, I can't remember the last time I had somebody come up to me and tell me that they don't believe in what I'm going to do. As a matter of fact, every time somebody comes up to me now, and I say this humbly, people tell me, yo, I see you being this. I see you speaking on stages. I see you being, bigger than Gary Vee, Tony Robbins. I see 7 figures on you already. I just sense this energy. Notice how that changed though. Because before people would look at me and be like, bro, that stuff is not working for you. It's just not there. It looks bad, bro. You should go get a job. Why are you wasting your time? But now those things, I honestly can't remember the last time somebody told me that. It's because I changed the concept of myself and I saw myself for more than what people see me. You see that? The moment I started to see myself for who I really knew I was going to be, people's perception of me changed. But when I was seeing myself as a failure, when I was seeing myself as, somebody who was struggling, who was down, who was still living in the hood, people treated me as such. He said, it's not due to the reluctance on their part, but a lack of persistence in your assumption of your life already being as you want it to be. Your assumption to be effective cannot be a single isolated act. It must be maintained. It must be a maintained attitude of the wish fulfilled. Has to be every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. Rain or shine. Got to do it every day, bro. Got to do it every day. Persistence. The ability to go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. You know what the biggest problem we all have is that when we fail, we stop. When something doesn't go our way, we stop. When we have an argument with our significant others, we don't grind. When someone leaves our business, we get down on ourselves. When something in life happens, we stop. And that's where we always lose. You'll never win if you can't be persistent in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, guys. This is the reason why so many people can never make it. It's because they can't stay persistent when it all goes bad. And I tell you guys this all the time. My mentor told me this all the time. He said, "Nano, look, bro, I get it. People go through stuff." I told him, I said, "Bro, I go through a lot of stuff." He said, "Bro, listen." He literally told me, he said, "Look, I get it. You go through stuff. Everybody is going through something." He said, "But in life, life doesn't care who's going through something. Life cares about who's going to make it through that." That's what he told me. And that always stuck with me. He said, life doesn't care who's going through what. Life cares about who's going to make it through that. Who's going to make it through what they're going through. Because remember, it's not about what happens to you. It's about what you do about what happens. Not about what happens, because what happened, happened. What are you going to do about what happened? And a lot of people stop. And I understand there's certain situations in life that you do have to stop, and you do have to, there's certain things that happen in life, like a death in the family, or, a disease, or, just something that happens that, yes, obviously you have to stop physical action, but the spiritual has to stay intact still. Because even though you may not be able to do the physical actions, you still can work up here. You can still think. And in reality, if you really think about it, some of you guys, if you really compare it, you're really not going through anything. If you really compare it to what others are really going through. They call it the law of relativity. What are you really going through compared to others? That's what I always do. When I think that I'm going through something, I'm like, okay, I'm going through this, but look at how I'm living. I still got money. I still have this. My parents are healthy. Am I really going through something? Nah, that's it. It's not that relevant. Is it gonna matter 5 months from now, 6 months from now? Nah. So let's just keep it pushing. Let's stay persistent in the facts. The feeling of the wish fulfilled. I am a millionaire. I am a 7-figure earner. Yes, thank you. Rolls Royce, Porsche Tower, relationship with God, charities, baseball academy. Yes, yes, yes. More travel, private jets. Yes, I see it. I feel it. Staying in that feeling is the key. That's the key. Every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Every day. Every day. Every day. Can't stop. No matter what. Every single day. Just don't stop, family, for real. That's literally the best advice I could give you guys right now. It's just do it every day. Don't do it until it happens. That's what I learned from one of my mentors. He says, "Yo, until." He said, "Remember the word until it happens, until it manifests, until the money's in your bank account, until that back office updates, until you give those keys to your mom and dad, until you're traveling the world. Continue to do it until every day." It doesn't take, remember, guys, the stuff that I'm asking you guys to do, you should love to do that. The same way you love to grab your phone and get on Instagram and scroll and hang out with your friends and all of that. Dude, you should love to wake up and work on yourself and think about the things that you want and visualize yourself where you want to be. You should love that. The same way you consciously wake up and you know that you got to brush your teeth and you got to shower and you got to eat, the same way you should consciously wake up every day and know that you got to meditate, you got to visualize, you got to read, and you got to journal, and you got to write down your goals. If you don't have that routine set up like that, you're not going to get it yet. You still have a lot of time to go. If you can't go 7 days straight doing your routine, you still have a long way to go, buddy. You have a long way to go, guys. If you can't do your routine 7 days straight, you have a long way to go. have a long way to go. I'm telling you right now. You have a lot to learn still. You haven't even learned how to go 7 days straight. How you gonna go? How you gonna make it? There's no chance. You have no chance. Can't even go 7 days. You can't even go 30 days. How are you going to make it? These are conversations that my mentor had with me that I was like, damn, you're right, bro. You're right. You are absolutely right. I can't even go. I couldn't even go 7 days. He said, "No, how you gonna make millions, bro, if you can't even do your routine 7 days?" That's what he told me. He said, "Bro, how you gonna make millions if you can't even do your routine 7 days in a row?" Come on, bro. How? How is that possible? How? It's impossible. So, family, that right there wraps up today's call. Stay persistent, free will. We don't know the how, but just know that it is coming. All right. I appreciate you guys all so very much for hopping on today's call. If you guys got value from today's call, put some threes in the chat box. All right. Put some threes in the chat box. All right. I'm gonna say a quick prayer. We got my sister Eunice, who is actually going into surgery. I think it's today. I saw your message earlier, sis. I didn't get a chance to see it fully because I started mornings with Nano. But we're gonna pray over my sis and pray for a successful surgery and also a speedy recovery from everything. Eunice is one of our OGs here on Mornings with Nano. She's like a mom to me, and I have an incredible amount of respect for her. So we're gonna pray for her, and we're gonna pray for anyone else who needs any prayers here today. So we're gonna wrap up this call. Let's do a quick prayer. Everybody, bow your heads and let's pray. Father God, thank you so much for waking us up on this beautiful Wednesday morning. We are so thankful that you woke us up today, because every day you wake us up, we know that you're not done working on us. And we are just so thankful for the continuous information and mentorship that you continue to guide us on. And, today we learned so much about free will and persistency. And we understand the amount of strength and determination that we need in order for us to persist through the failures, through the ups, through the downs. So we ask God that through these failures that a lot of us are going through these challenges, these obstacles, that you give us the strength to overcome these challenges, that you give us the wisdom to beat these tests that are being thrown in our lives. Because yes, we need that right now, God. And a lot of us do, in order for us to get to where we want to go to. So continue to bless us, God. We are so thankful to have you in our corner. We are committed to change. We are committed to making an impact in this world. And we are so thankful. We also want to pray for my sister Eunice and anyone else who needs any prayer. I want you to put your healing hand over Eunice and, pray for a successful surgery and a speedy recovery for her. She's one of us. And, every single day she's here on these calls, serving her purpose and spreading the word. And trust me, God, she's ready to serve on a deeper level than God. And trust me, I know that she's going to do some amazing things here on this earth. And I'm just so thankful for her. So let's pray over her and let's wish her a very, very speedy recovery with her surgery. We are so thankful for her. And for anyone else on this call who's dealing with any problems, any diseases, any issues, any family deaths, or anybody that needs any kind of healing on this call, Father, we pray that you put your healing hand over those individuals and you heal them and you allow them, to sit there in your comfort and know that everything is okay and that everything, is in your hands and you're taking care of everything, and give them that reassurance that certain people need in order for them to have that peace of mind, God. So we thank you so much for everything that you're doing for us. We thank you so much for sticking by our side through the good, through the bad, through the ups, through the downs. You are one like no other, God, and we are just so extremely thankful for you. So let's continue to have a great day. We love you so much and we appreciate you so much. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. 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 All right. With that being said, guys, that wraps up today's call. Eunice, we love you. We appreciate you. We hope everything goes great. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the day. I'm going to be flying to Arizona. I'm going to eat some breakfast and head to the airport. But I'm really, really looking forward to, everything that's about to happen for us and everything that will continue to happen for us, fam. So I'm looking forward to it. If you guys are in the Arizona area, I am having an event tomorrow at 8 p.m. Reach out to me. I will get you guys the address to that. And if you're on my team and you're in Arizona, we have a meet and greet tonight at 7 p.m. So I love you guys a lot. I appreciate you guys even more. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Like this video if you guys, want to listen to any extra, videos or podcasts. Make sure you go listen to the podcast on, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud. It's in all areas. You guys are my family, and I appreciate you guys a lot. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Help me get the word out. Help people subscribe to me. My goal is 10K subscribers by the summertime. So we're almost at 7,000. So help me spread the word. Let's get more people on Mornings with Nano, and let's continue to bless it up, fam, because a lot of things are about to change for us, and I'm just super excited. Don't forget to apply the information. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to get in contact with the podcast. And I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow for another episode of Mornings with Nano. God bless, fam.